Smile, John.
Good evening. It's July 25th, 2025. We're in Studio 6A today. It's my pleasure and honor to be meeting with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Good, very good, thank you.
You're looking well. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich believes in the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. We're reading some of the diary, and I think we'll pick up on some of it now. Let's see. How are you doing today?
Good,
You're looking well.
thank you.
17 January 1945 diary. Late afternoon found Company C men entering the town of Ville-de-Bois. 1st Battalion troops found in the town abandoned except for a handful of Jerrys. Did you always nickname the Nazis Jerrys?
The what?
Did you nickname the Nazis Jerrys? Jerrys?
Jerry, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Who had no fight left at all in them. After clearing the town, outposts were set up, and that each man had a chance to get some sleep, dry clothing, and to get warm. You were just cold every day, right?
Yeah.
Hard to get warm. 2nd and 3rd Battalions, during the day, 3rd Battalion occupied Petite Thier, while the 2nd Battalion moved to Crossroads near Patton, where a roadblock was established. 20 January 1945, diary. Following the taking of Petite Thier, the 3rd Battalion moved to Bec, Belgium, and removed elements of the 289th Infantry on the right flank of the division. The next morning, the battalion jumped in the attack towards Aldritrin, moving through the woods all day. The battalion met only small pockets of resistance. At dusk, the battalion had set up to reorganize. Company I then moved over toward the objective, and with the aid of tank support, the battalion took defensive positions just south of Aldritrin. The town of Camonester was entered and cleared by Company B in the early afternoon for the first afternoon of 17. On the 22nd January at 1200 hours, 1st Battalion launched, Jimmy, what else was I saying?
26?
It's Jimmy, what else?
Yeah.
Launched an offensive against the town of Aldritrin. Just 2 miles east of St. Vith, the attack was to begin at noon. B Company was to push through C Company and capture the high ground in front of the town. Company A was to follow B Company and then swing to the right and set up just a couple hundred yards each of the town. Company C was to move forward just a few minutes behind Company A and move into the town and clean it out. Despite heavy enemy shelling, the town was taken on the 24th. 3rd Battalion, with Company F attached, continued the attack on Aldritrin. On the 24th, Company F moved through Bayeux to attack Aldritrin. Casualties in the attack were heavy, but the town was cleared and defenses were set up. After these bitterly contested battles, waged in sub-zero weather and deep snow. How deep was the snow?
Up to your ankles, up to your knees.
Wow. The 291st Infantry mission in the Ardennes was completed. The regiment had taken its part in pushing the Wehrmacht back and flattening the Bulge. This was accomplished through days of misery due to the waist-deep snow and the cold. Wow.
Yeah,
That's where you got frostbite, right?
yeah, that's where I got it.
You're still suffering from frostbite now?
Seven.
So you're paying level 7, right?
Yeah.
26 January 1945 diary. This day found the 291st men relieved of their defensive in the Ardennes and preparing to board 40 and 8s for what they thought would be the rest area. Followed 2 miserable cold days on the train down to Colmar Pocket in France. This was no rest area, but was another pocket to be cleaned out. Detraining at Frepelay, France, on the evening of the 28th of January, the regiment was assembled in the woods outside Widewere on the 30th. 1 February 1945 diary. Relieving elements of the 3rd Division on January 31st, the 291st Infantry again went into the attack on the 1st of February. 1st Battalion and 2nd Battalion were in a coordinated attack near Forchur and division of the Rhine. The shelling was intense. The Germans were fighting desperately as they were being hemmed in on all sides of the Colmar Pocket. The shelling was coming from a fortress city of Neubrich, which guarded the last escape bridge over the Rhine. It was the only way the Jerries could get across the Rhine. Thus the desperate struggle that was put up, pushing on through the woods, Company C reached a large open field and saw the fortified city of Wolfganzen, about a mile away. Wolfganzen was the key city to the walled fortress town of Neubrich. The battalion had progressed steadily, although the tangled Alsatian thickets, but was halted in the early afternoon by heavy enemy counterattack. After heavy fighting, the tank support was summoned and the counterattack repelled. The attack was held at this point until late in the evening. After resumption of the attack, the troops proceeded with opposition throughout the several thousand yards of dense woods to reach the open fields before Wolfganzen. Were you using a heavy-duty machine gun here?
Yeah. That was part of the TO.
What?
Part of the TO.
At 0700 hours on the 1st of February, Company F jumped into the attack from Forchwer.
21 minutes.
With E, G, and H companies, E, G, and H company, also pushing in the attack. 2nd Battalion advanced 1,200 yards through heavily wooded area, continuing the attack at 0200 hours on the 2nd. The 2nd Battalion pushed down through the woods, reaching high ground overlooking Wolfganzen. The men were subject all day to heavy enemy artillery fire. Because of the attack against the 289th Infantry at Openware, the battalion was pulled into reserve in a wooded area. On the 1st of February, the 3rd Battalion, meeting little or no resistance, moved up the defensive positions on the edge of the woods just outside of Wolfganzen. The 2nd Battalion began to pull in reserve, necessitated the extending of battalion front. Pulling back about 300 yards from the edge of the woods, defensive positions were set up for 3 days. The men were subject to heavy enemy artillery fire. During all this, did you pick up many German POWs?
No.
Want me to read more of your diary or want me to go to the text questions?
What?
You want me to read more of the diary or you want me to go to text questions?
I'll go to the style, yeah.
Okay. 4 February 1945 diary. On the evening of the third day, 3rd Battalion moved forward in the attack. K&L companies led off with I Company in reserve. K&L companies were pinned down by heavy resistance from the overwhelming German forces. Early that next morning, Company I, with the support of tanks, drove through and although suffering heavy casualties itself, moved on to the woods to its edge near Appenwehr. Having been repulsed by heavy enemy artillery fired the previous day in an attempt to attack the Wolfgantzen, 2nd Battalion circled back and maneuvered through the wood, renewing the attack on the 4th. Received heavy enemy artillery fire and suffered many casualties. Continued to clear woods in the evening and set up defensive positions. On the 5th of February 1945, at 1700 hours, the Company C moved out in an attempt to reduce apparently impregnable town of Wolfgantzen. A and B companies attacked the opposite ends of the town, with C Company attacking directly across the fields that hit the town broadsides. So well planned and executed the attack that it was accomplished almost bloodlessly. That's good. By early evening, Wolfgantzen had been entirely surrounded, secured, and companies moved into their billets. Wow. During the course of the attack, the second lieutenant, then T Sergeant, Odom Bondi, got lost from his organization headquarters, 1st Battalion, because, as he put it, he wanted to see what it felt like to go into attack with a rifle company. He soon found out. He came up riding on one of those tanks, having a hell of a lot of fun shooting the .50 caliber machine gun. On the 6th day of February, 2nd Battalion moved on to within a sight of the Rhine River, remained there all day in the 7th, receiving some bombardment from the jet planes. On the 9th of February, the battalion marched to Wolfgantzen, where the 1st and the 3rd Battalions also assembled. 9 February 1945 diary. The days following the capture of Wolfgantzen were the days of resting and getting cleaned up. Wolfgantzen was enjoyed very much by most of the men. There were plenty of wine in cellars, and eggs and chickens, and other food was also plentiful. Didn't you find one time a chocolate factory?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
They told not to eat it, might be booby-trapped.
So no one ate the chocolate?
No.
Okay. Was it a nice chocolate factory?
Yeah.
Did you have the strong aroma of chocolate?
Yeah.
And
16 minutes.
but it was all abandoned by this point.
Yeah, it was all
So they
bad.
think the
They
commanding
probably, I
officer
told them, don't eat it.
it could have been poisoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so. The weather was also getting enjoyable. Gone were the cold, freezing days of the Ardennes and the miserable ride by the 40 and 8s down to Belgium. On the 12th of February, 1st Battalion moved by truck to the towns of Cherneville, France, and Remenville, France, for 3 days of good rest, clean clothes, and movies. The 2nd Battalion moved to Clementine, France, for their 3 days of rest and relaxation. 3rd Battalion set up in towns of Granville, France, Varese, France. All the companies of the regiment enjoyed the brief rest period, which include baths, movies, beer ration, and church services. Wow. 15 February 1945 diary. With the Germans chased out of Colmar and the campaign there ended, the 291st Infantry troops boarded 40 and the 8th again on the 15th of February en route to Holland. How was Holland?
Holland was nice, yeah.
Yeah. The weather was much warmer and the ride was enjoyed much more by the men than the one earlier in the month. Stopping a weekend in Belgium, 291st men again were impressed with the hospitality of the Belgian people. Tell us about how
They were cordial, they were cordial.
they had great respect for the American soldiers.
Yeah.
1st Battalion billeted in Horten, Belgium. The people this time were especially cordial. They gave the men their home, their food, and their beer. 2nd and 3rd Battalions, the same conditions in other Belgian towns where they were billeted. 18th of February 1945, diary. On the 18th of February, the 291st Infantry moved up to Holland to relieve a British unit in a holding position on the Maas River. The regimental CP was at Holsterseen, Holland. 19 February 1945 to March 1, 1945. After relief of the British units in Holland, the 291st Infantry remained in defensive positions around the Maas River until the 1st of March. During this time spent along the Maas, the mission of the regiment was to hold our side of the river and gain intelligence information of the enemy through patrols. Did you go on many of those patrols?
Oh, yeah.
How many guys would go on patrols with you?
There was about 6,
About how many miles out would you have gone?
25 miles. They call it 25 miles.
Did you ever during these patrols get involved in gunfire?
No.
Wow.
12, almost 13.
The weather was warm, duties were not excessive, except when outposting on an island in the area. We stuck out into Jerry Land. The companies all got much needed replacements while in the position and were once again up to full strength. Was it hard to get up to full strength?
Oh, yeah, they get new recruits in.
Yeah. The 291st Infantry, like the Dutch people, and believed the feeling was mutual. Considerable business with them was done on a barter system. Was there a lot of black market?
What?
Black market.
Oh, yeah.
Food was plentiful, so the men traded cigarettes for eggs, pies, and other things, which by now had become a delicacy to them.
Yeah.
So the soldiers were bartering with the locals.
Yeah.
Outside a few skirmishes and incidents with patrols, there was really no action. The few artillery shells and other harassing fire was received in the area, but booby traps and mines harassed patrols, many casualties being lost as a result. It was here at the Lieutenant Colonel Robert H. Sanders, 1st Battalion Commander, was killed by a mine. Mines were also dangerous, huh?
Yeah, he stepped on a
They
mine.
booby-trapped, the Nazis booby-trapped him before they left, right?
Yeah.
It was also here that Sergeant Eric Schwartz, company of A Squad, who speaks German thorough, arranged to capture 16 Germans during the night reconnaissance, which won him the cluster to the Silver Star. 7th March 1945 to 23rd March 1945, diary.
Just under 11.
With the Germans being pushed back across the Rhine River, all along the front of the 291st Infantry moved up through Holland during the first week in March, and at the start of the second week of the month found its defensive positions on the west bank of the Rhine River south of Wissel. Do you remember the publicity stunt that General George Patton pulled with the Rhine River?
Yeah, he went across the river.
Could you tell us about what happened?
Well, we were looking for this shallow spot to cross the river, and he was on the other side. He's pissing in the river.
How did he get across so fast?
Huh?
How did
He was pissing in the river.
And so what did he do?
Huh?
What did he do when he got across?
He pissed in the river.
So he had all the publicity from the reporters there, and because everyone told him he couldn't make it there first. And so when he got to the other side of the Rhine, which was enemy territory, he whipped it out and took a piss, telling everyone basically, I did it.
He took their picture, yeah.
And that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about that. With the Germans being pushed back across the Rhine, the regiment spent over 2 weeks here in the positions. These days were spent outposting in the Rhine River, and life was not unpleasant. Regular hours were kept, and everyone got plenty of rest. So you're starting to get plenty of rest now, right?
Yeah.
Now and then some artillery came in, units suffered some casualties because of it, but these incidents were rare. Company A reports March 8th to 23rd were good days. The company was spread out along the Rhine in farmhouses. Did you hit many farmhouses?
Oh, yeah. That's how we lived, in a
Are they
farmhouse.
nice?
Farmhouses or barns.
And very little fire was coming from the enemy. Men ate well, helping themselves to farmers' rich stocks, slept and wrote letters home. And that's where you wrote a lot of V-mails home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the occupation of these towns along the west bank of the Rhine, companies of the 291st Infantry got their first taste of military government work. In aiding to avail of preparations for the coming crossing of the Rhine, civilians had to be screened and the suspected evacuated. One of the humorous incidents during the same year, while the cattle roundup, in an effort to get all the cattle into one area as to avoid any hindrance to the crossing operations, the regiment, with the aid of Belgian soldiers, were Belgian soldiers good fighters?
I guess they were, yeah.
The Belgian soldiers rounded up all the cattle in the area into one pasture. Doughboys turned cowboys for a day. The regiment use of almost mighty patrols, reconnaissance patrols across the Rhine, brought back much needed intelligence information for the use by the unit participated so successfully in the initial crossing on the 24th of March. Headquarters Company I and R Platoon had an important OP on the Rhine. 24th March 1945 diary. Earlier that morning of the 24th of March, the 30th and the 79th Infantry Division passed through the 291st Infantry lines for a successful crossing of the Rhine River. The crossing was preceded by a 2-hour artillery barrage of the German positions across the river, the greatest artillery bombardment of the war. Cannon and anti-tank companies, 291st Infantry, both participated in this, one of the great barrages in the history. Cannon Company reports firing 1,400 rounds that night. That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
1,400, wow. Anti-tank Company used their 57s as artillery pieces as every gun obtainable was being fired at the Jerry's. Company D, the 291st Infantry, gave direct support to the units crossing the line and later protected the engineers in the construction of the first pontoon bridge in that area. Pontoon bridges were quite common during the war.
Well, the Army engineers put them up.
Put them up pretty quickly,
How
right?
long did it take them to put them up?
Huh?
How long did it take them to make one?
What?
A bridge, pontoon bridge?
Well, probably half a day.
March 26th saw Company D credited with German planes shot down through the accuracy of Sergeant Robert Finch's machine gun. On the 25th of March, Company I, 291st Infantry, left by motor from Budberg, Germany, to Gesterhof, Germany, for the mission of protecting the pontoon bridge across the Rhine in the vicinity of Gesterhof. The remainder of the month saw the respective companies of the 291st Infantry guarding the bridge sites across the bridge. So by guarding the bridge, the Germans really wanted to blow that bridge up.
Yeah, they had it all dynamited. Yeah, they had satchels underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that he had to take down some booby traps before?
The what?
Did you have to take down any booby traps? Did you yourself have to take down any booby traps?
No.
No. And moving across the river on the pontoon bridges to assemble and prepare for the attack on the Germans, who were holding out tenaciously in a Ruhr pocket. Other American forces were driving towards Elbe River on the road to Berlin. 31 March 1945, diary. On March 31st, the 291st Infantry went into attack again. The mission was to clean off the Germans in the Ruhr in the vicinity of Dortmund and to aid the capture of this important industrial city. Have you been into any of the factories? What
Yeah,
about?
there are a lot of factories there.
Nothing left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the 1st Battalion, Company B, went into the attack that morning of the 31st to sweep out the woods between Dorsten and Dreur. No resistance was met, the enemy having withdrawn some hours previously. The night was spent by company in luxurious billets in Dreur.
3 minutes.
A and C companies also moved on Dreur, where the orders were received to continue the attack the next morning. In the 2nd Battalion advance, E Company moved ahead 3 miles, ran the Germans out of Schicklmauer, and then took 90 prisoners. What did you do with all the prisoners?
Set them back.
Wasn't it a pain in the ass watching them?
No, they did. You did. You said, put them in a wreck area, handcuff them, and leave them.
Oh,
And they send back to pick these guys up.
okay. F Company moving into the attack at 0300 hours. Also moved ahead to Schicklmauer and during the day contact with the 17th Airborne Division, who were to attack the British Second Army. Who were attached to the British Second Army, I'm sorry. In the 3rd Battalion sector, I Company was on the left of the battalion in the first attack in a series of attacks against the Germans in a Ruhr pocket. Other 3rd Battalion units pushed forward in the 291st drive towards Datteln. A lot of destruction, huh?
Yeah.
1 April 1945 diary. Let me close it up here. I'll ask some questions now.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask some questions now. So what did the destruction, describe the destruction in all these factories? How bad was it?
What?
The bombings that took place at the German factories, how bad was it?
Well, the Allies were bombing the factories to get rid of their supplies.
Day and night?
The British were bombing at night, and the Americans were bombing during the day, kill the factories.
So there wasn't much left of the factories?
No, they were losing their supplies.
Was there anything left of the factories, or they're completely non-functional?
Oh, they were bombed out, yeah.
Wow.
It was all rubble.
I wonder how many decades it took to bring them back.
Huh?
I wonder how many decades it took to bring them back.
Probably 10 years
Yeah.
after the war.
Wow. That was a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Were many of the houses bombed that badly too?
Civilian houses, some. Well, they were in the area, they got it.
Yeah. Did most of the civilians move out?
The kids were out in the woods. They sent all the kids out of the country.
Like how far away from the bombing?
Yeah, and then the adults stayed there. Well, the men were in the army, the only left was the women.
That was it?
20 seconds.
Wow.
And the women didn't want to leave.
The women didn't want to leave?
Yeah.
They were set in their ways, they loved their house.
Well, they want to leave their house.
Yeah, I don't blame them. And they had a pride of ownership too, right?
The what?
A pride of ownership, kept it
Yeah,
clean.
yeah, well, they had